The arena's gates slammed shut behind him with a thunderous clang that reverberated through the cramped chamber, sealing him inside. Kai's heart hammered against his ribs, each beat a desperate plea for escape, but there was no way out. Above him the plasma-winged leviathan roared, a sound so raw, so primal, it rattled every nerve ending. The alien crowd surrounding the pit erupted, their jeers slicing through the air like sharpened blades, intent on crushing his spirit. "Fight, fight for your worthless planet," they screamed. Kai swallowed hard, his breath catching in his throat. The cacophony was suffocating, the walls closing in, the weight of their contempt pressing down on him like a physical force. His mind raced, shadows of doubt gnawing at his resolve. "They forced me into this battle," he thought bitterly, asterisk with a creature engineered not just to kill me, but to annihilate entire worlds. The Leviathan was no ordinary beast. It was a weapon born from the cruel genius of their warlords, a living apocalypse clad in plasma and scale. Kai's fingers clenched into fists, nails digging into his palms as the heat of the arena's glaring lights beat down on him. Yet amid the storm of fear and despair, a stubborn spark flickered deep within his mind, a defiant ember refusing to be snuffed out. "I will turn their weapon into Earth's salvation," he vowed silently, eyes narrowing with steely determination. The tension of impending doom clashed violently with that fragile hope, setting his entire being on edge. "Come on, Earthling," a guttural voice sneered from the shadows. "Show us why your world is so insignificant." Kai's gaze snapped toward the source. The alien overseer, a grotesque figure with mottled skin and eyes like burning coals, stepped forward, his grin cruel and merciless. "You were brought here to die. Your technology, your so-called genius, it won't save you." Kai's jaw tightened. "You underestimate what I am capable of," he said quietly, voice steady despite the chaos. "I didn't ask for this fight, but I won't be your puppet." The overseer laughed, a sound devoid of humor, bold words for a man about to be torn apart. He gestured sharply, and the Leviathan surged forward, plasma wings unfurling with a deadly hiss. Kai's breath hitched, but he refused to flinch. Instead, he scanned the arena floor with practiced eyes, noting every shadow, every crevice, his mind already racing through calculations, potential strategies. The Leviathan was designed to overwhelm, to crush resistance beneath its fiery wrath. But Kai had spent years studying cybernetic systems, hacking into alien tech, and modifying machines that others deemed irredeemable. If there was a way to outsmart the beast, he would find it. The memories of exile flashed through his mind, years of being shunned by his own people. Labeled a pariah for his unorthodox methods and his refusal to bow to corrupt authorities. They had mocked him, called him reckless, but none could deny the brilliance that burned beneath his rebellious exterior. Kai's work on cybernetic implants had pushed the boundaries of human-machine fusion. But it was his obsession with alien technology that had truly isolated him. He was the only one who dared to dream of merging Earth's defenses with extraterrestrial weaponry. Now, trapped in this arena, his defiance was his last weapon. "Why are you fighting so hard, human?" a voice whispered beside him, soft, almost hesitant. Kai turned his head slightly to see Myra, a fellow captive and fellow engineer, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and admiration. "They've broken others before you. Why not just give in?" Kai's expression softened for a moment, the weight of his solitude momentarily lifting. "Because giving in means death for more than just me," he murmured. "I don't fight for glory, I fight for Earth's survival. If I can survive this, maybe I can turn their creation against them." Myra nodded slowly, her fingers tightening around a makeshift tool she had crafted in secret. "Then we'll fight together." There was no time for sentiment. The Leviathan's plasma wings flared again, casting eerie blue light across the arena. It lunged, a blur of lethal precision. Kai darted to the side, barely avoiding a blast that singed the ground where he had stood moments before. His mind raced. The creature's attacks were brutal but predictable in their rhythm. He had studied the data, known the patterns. Now it was time to exploit them. "Focus," he whispered to himself, his breathing steadying despite the adrenaline. "Find the weak points, use their own weapon against them." He sprinted across the cracked stone floor, dodging another plasma strike. His cybernetic enhancements humming quietly beneath his skin, silent allies in this deadly dance. The crowd's jeers grew louder, the alien faces twisted with hunger for his defeat. But Kai's eyes were locked on the leviathan's wings, the shimmering plasma conduits pulsing with energy. Suddenly, a thought struck him, a flaw he had detected during his brief observations. The leviathan's plasma wings, while devastating, were unstable under electromagnetic interference. If he could generate a pulse strong enough, he might disrupt the beast's energy flow, weakening it long enough to strike a critical blow. His fingers brushed against the wrist-mounted device he had secretly modified, a prototype EMP generator concealed beneath his sleeve. It was untested, dangerous even to himself, but it was his best chance. "Now or never," Kai muttered, breath fogging the thin visor of his helmet. The leviathan charged again, jaws snapping inches from Kai's face. He dove to the side, rolling across the rough stone surface, and in a fluid motion activated the EMP. A surge of electric blue light erupted from his wrist, crackling through the air like a storm. The leviathan shrieked, plasma wings flickering erratically as the electromagnetic pulse coursed through its systems. It staggered, disoriented, giving Kai a precious window. "Come on," he urged himself, heart pounding. He lunged toward the beast's flank, revealing a panel of exposed circuitry, a vulnerability beneath the shimmering plasma scales. With a precise strike, he plunged a makeshift cyber blade into the gap, sending sparks flying. The crowd gasped, a mixture of outrage and disbelief rippling through the arena. The leviathan roared in pain, its plasma wings dimming as it faltered. Kai's chest heaved with exertion, sweat mingling with grime on his brow. Yet beneath it all, a fierce grin spread across his face. The defiant spark had ignited into a blazing flame. "Earth's salvation," he whispered, voice trembling with a potent mix of fear and hope, "starts here." As the gates sealed behind him and the leviathan reeled, Kai realized that this battle was more than survival. It was the beginning of a revolution. The alien crowd might have forced him into this fight, but the war for Earth's future was far from over. And he, the outcast engineer, was ready to rewrite the rules. Kai's breath came in ragged gasps as the leviathan staggered, its plasma wings flickering unpredictably. The acrid smell of ozone hung thick in the arena air, mingling with the roar of the hostile crowd. But beneath the chaos within the core of Kai's being, a tempest of emotions churned fiercely: guilt, determination, fear, and an unyielding resolve. For years he had lived on Earth's fringes, a ghost haunted by the loss of his family during the first alien invasion. Now, thrust again into the crucible of battle, that storm raged louder than ever. He felt the sting of sweat in his eyes and wiped it away with a trembling hand, the other clutching the cyber blade, still hot from the leviathan's circuits. The crowd's jeers pounded relentlessly, a harsh backdrop to his swirling thoughts. "They see me as a tool, a weapon to be discarded," he thought bitterly. "Even my own people doubt me, but I will not be broken." Kai's mind flicked back to the exile that had shaped him, the nights alone in the wastelands beyond Earth's last cities. The whispered conversations with resistance leaders who called him reckless, even dangerous. Their mistrust was a constant weight, heavier than any armor. Yet his intellect, sharp and relentless, had kept him alive. He had spent countless hours hacking alien systems, piecing together fragments of technology that others had abandoned as too dangerous or incomprehensible. His obsession with merging Earth's defenses with extraterrestrial weaponry had cost him friendships, trust, and a place within society, but it was the only hope he knew. A sudden guttural voice sliced through the din, dragging Kai back to the present. You think your family's death makes you strong. It only makes you weak. You are nothing but a broken relic, Earthling. Kai's jaw clenched. The overseer's cruel words cut deep, but he refused to let them consume him. My pain is my fuel, he shot back, voice steady despite the weariness clawing at his limbs. I fight because I must, for them, for Earth, the overseer sneered, stepping closer. His mottled skin almost shimmering under the arena's harsh lights. Then prove it, survive this if you can. Kai's eyes darted to the leviathan, which had begun to recover, its plasma wings humming with renewed energy. The creature was a monstrous fusion of biology and technology, its every movement a testament to alien engineering, designed for destruction. Yet Kai saw past the terror it inspired. He saw patterns, vulnerabilities hidden beneath layers of scales and circuitry. Focus, he whispered to himself, heart hammering against his ribs. Find the weakness. As the leviathan lunged again, Kai twisted his body, narrowly avoiding a blast of searing plasma. The heat singed his sleeve, and a sharp sting bloomed across his forearm, but he pressed on, eyes scanning rapidly. He noticed the faint shimmer of energy conduits along the wings, flickering erratically after his EMP strike. A seed of hope grew, a chance. Suddenly, a voice called out from the shadows, soft but urgent. Kai, now's your chance. Myra's figure emerged, her hands clutching a makeshift tool, a crude but effective device. Fashioned from scavenged parts, her eyes shone with a mix of fear and determination. Kai's lips twitched into a faint smile. I'm not alone, he said, his voice a low promise to himself and her. Myra edged closer, whispering, if we can overload the Leviathan's power core, it might buy us enough time to escape, or even turn the tide. Kai nodded, the plan forming swiftly in his mind. Cover me, I'll get to the core. The arena's cacophony swelled as the Leviathan roared, muscles tensing for another attack. Time was slipping away. Kai darted forward, every movement a calculated risk. His cybernetic enhancements hummed beneath his skin, amplifying his reflexes but also drawing attention. The Leviathan's plasma wings flared, casting eerie blue shadows that danced across the cracked stone floor. A lethal beam sliced the air just inches from his face, forcing him to dive low. Pain blossomed in his shoulder, a searing reminder of his physical vulnerability, but Kai pushed through it, adrenaline drowning his senses. Come on, he urged himself, just a little closer. Reaching beneath the Leviathan's armored flank, Kai spotted the core, a pulsating orb of alien energy encased in translucent armor. His heart pounded fiercely, fingers trembling as he extended the makeshift device Myra had given him, its jagged edges sparking with raw energy. Suddenly, a searing claw swipe caught his leg, sending him sprawling to the ground. The crowd gasped, their jeers morphing into shocked murmurs. Pain flared through Kai's body, but he gritted his teeth, refusing to surrender to the beast's fury. Myra's voice rang out sharply, Kai, you've got to move, summoning every ounce of strength. Kai rolled away just as the Leviathan lashed out again, its plasma wings igniting in a blinding flash. The blast scorched the ground where he had lain moments before. Kai's breath came in ragged gasps, and fear threatened to overwhelm him. But beneath the desperation, a fierce fire burned. He wasn't just fighting for survival. He was fighting to reclaim his shattered past, to prove that even the broken could rise. Now, he whispered, scrambling back to his feet. With a final, desperate lunge, Kai drove the device into the power core. Sparks erupted, the orb flickering wildly as energy cascaded through the leviathan's frame. The beast shrieked, stumbling, its plasma wings dimming. The crowd's roar turned into stunned silence, broken only by the leviathan's agonized cries. Kai collapsed to his knees, chest heaving, sweat and blood mingling on his skin. Myra rushed to his side, her eyes wide with a mixture of relief and disbelief. "We did it," she breathed. Kai shook his head slowly, a weary smile breaking through the exhaustion. "No, this is just the beginning." His mind raced. This victory was but a spark in the darkness. A fragile light in an overwhelming storm. The alien captors would not take this defeat lightly. They would come for him harder, faster. Yet, within that peril lay a sliver of hope, a chance to ignite a revolution. Kai's thoughts drifted, fleetingly, to the voices of Earth's resistance, faint whispers through encrypted channels, calling him a prodigy, a beacon. They believed in his potential even when his own people had turned away. He met Myra's gaze, voice low but resolute. "We have to get out of here. The others, they're counting on us." Her nod was swift, determination hardening her features. "Then let's make sure this fight wasn't for nothing." As the arena's gates creaked ominously, signaling the arrival of alien reinforcements, Kai rose. Pain forgotten in the surge of purpose. The battle might have been forced upon him, but the war for Earth's future, for his family's memory, was now his to command. And Kai, the outcast engineer, was ready to rewrite destiny itself. Kai's neural implants flickered urgently, subtle warnings slipping through the digital haze like whispered secrets. His mind scrambled to parse the data. The Leviathan's core, buried beneath layers of plasma scales and arcane circuitry, was vulnerable, not invincible, not unbreakable. The creature's programming, as lethal as it was, bore a rigid structure that, with the right key, might be overridden. But the risk was catastrophic. One wrong move, and the Leviathan would obliterate him without hesitation. Tension coiled tight in Kai's chest as the arena's alien spectators leaned forward, their many eyes gleaming with cruel anticipation. They expected a massacre. The Leviathan was their ultimate weapon, engineered to crush challengers without remorse. Yet here was Kai, a lone human, his mind a tempest of conflicting impulses. Survival screamed at him to flee, to hide, to strike preemptively. But the moral weight of manipulating a living being, one designed as a weapon yet still, somehow alive, gnawed at his conscience. The overseer's voice crackled through the arena's comms, cold and authoritative. "Conform, Earthling, obey or perish." Kai's jaw tightened. He refused to bow. Not now, not ever. As the Leviathan lunged, its plasma wings unfurling in a deadly hiss, Kai's body reacted before his mind fully caught up. He dove to the side, the beast's claws raking through the spot where he had stood seconds before, sending shards of scorched stone flying. The heat from its plasma wings washed over him like liquid fire, singeing the edges of his jacket. "Stay with me," he muttered under his breath, heart pounding so fiercely it felt like it would burst free. Find the core, override the system, turn its own programming against it. His cybernetic implants fed him streams of data, flickers of code, encrypted subroutines, potential backdoors. The Leviathan was a fortress of flesh and machine, but every fortress had a weak point. Kai's thoughts spiraled back to the first time he hacked an alien drone, years ago, in the shadowed alleys of New Tokyo. The thrill of bending hostile tech to his will, the taste of forbidden knowledge, the loneliness that came with being labeled a traitor by his own people. That memory steeled him now. "Why fight a losing battle, human?" the overseer sneered, voice dripping with contempt. Echoing through Kai's implants, "Your resistance is futile. Surrender your will." Kai's lips curled into a bitter smile. "You misunderstand. I don't fight to win your approval. I fight to survive, to save. The leviathan's plasma wings flickered again, its movements jerky, a sign of instability. Kai seized the moment. His fingers brushed the wrist-mounted EMP device hidden beneath his sleeve, its prototype circuitry humming softly, dangerously. Come on," he whispered, eyes locked on the glowing energy conduits pulsing erratically along the leviathan's wings. With a roar, the leviathan launched forward again, jaws snapping inches from Kai's face. He rolled to the side, raw stone scraping his skin, and slammed the EMP's activation button. A burst of electric blue light exploded outward, crackling through the air like a violent storm unleashed inside the arena. The leviathan screamed, a guttural mechanical shriek, as its plasma wings flickered wildly. Energy surging chaotically across its frame, Kai didn't hesitate. He lunged toward the beast's exposed flank, where a panel of damaged circuitry blinked erratically beneath its shimmering scales. With a cyber blade forged from scavenged tech, he plunged the blade deep into the core panel, sparks flying. Alarms blaring inside the Leviathan's system. The crowd gasped, alien voices rising in outraged disbelief. The Leviathan staggered, its plasma wings dimming as it faltered, a moment of vulnerability Kai would exploit. Kai's chest heaved, sweat and grime blurring his vision, but a fierce grin cracked across his face. The spark of resistance had ignited into a blaze. Earth's salvation, he breathed, voice low but steady, starts now. Suddenly, his implants buzzed with a sharp alert, an override code pulsing through the Leviathan's neural network. The creature's rigid programming was yielding, responding to his commands, but the alien overlords' control tightened like a vice. Their influence clawed at the Leviathan's mind, a sinister force forcing it back toward obedience. Kai's mind raced. He was caught in a deadly game of cat and mouse between the creature's primal fury, his own desperate will to survive, and the overlord's iron grip on the Leviathan's programming. "Hold on, Leviathan," Kai whispered. "I'm not your master yet, but soon." The Leviathan lunged again, more frenzied this time, plasma wings flaring with erratic bursts of energy. Kai rolled beneath the beast's swing, narrowly avoiding a plasma blast that scorched the arena floor mere inches from his face. "Damn it, stay focused," he hissed, pain flashing sharp in his ribs from a recent strike. A sudden voice cut through the chaos, Myra, stepping into the arena's shadows, her eyes blazing with fierce determination. "Kai, the core's destabilizing faster than we thought. You need to finish this now." Kai nodded, adrenaline sharpening every sense. On it, he scrambled toward the Leviathan's belly, where the core pulsed like a dying star encased in translucent armor. The beast's movements grew sluggish, energy flickering dangerously. With trembling hands, Kai connected his cyber blade to the core's interface, initiating a risky override sequence. Lines of alien code streamed through his implants, the Leviathan's defenses fighting back, but his hacking skills relentless. "Come on," he urged himself, sweat stinging his eyes. Suddenly the Leviathan roared, a sound filled with pain and rage. Its plasma wings convulsed, energy surging chaotically before the core finally gave way, erupting in a cascade of sparks. The arena went deathly silent, the alien crowd frozen in stunned shock. Kai collapsed to one knee, chest heaving, muscles trembling from exhaustion and adrenaline. Myra rushed forward, her voice a breath of relief. "You did it, Kai. You actually did it." Kai looked up, eyes burning with a mix of triumph and newfound purpose. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly. "They won't let this stand." The overseer's voice crackled through the arena's comms, furious and sharp. "Earthling, you've doomed yourself. The Leviathan will be rebuilt." "You will break." Kai met the challenge with unwavering resolve. "Then I'll break their control. I'll turn their weapons into our freedom." As the arena gates groaned open, signaling the arrival of reinforcements, Kai rose, every fiber of his being charged with defiance. The plasma-winged leviathan, once an instrument of destruction, now flickered with faint traces of Kai's influence, a living symbol of resistance born from the ashes of oppression. He glanced at Myra, determination shining in her eyes. We fight, not just to survive, but to reclaim our world. Together, they stepped forward into the uncertain battle ahead, ready to rewrite the rules of a war that had been forced upon them, and to forge a future where humanity would no longer be a pawn but a player. Plasma wings igniting the arena with deadly arcs, Kai's hands moved with practiced precision, fingers dancing over the tangled web of interface panels embedded deep within the leviathan's core. The beast's guttural roars echoed like thunder, a fierce declaration of rage that shook the very floor beneath them. Sparks flew as the alien crowd's gasps rippled like a shockwave, their shrill cries slicing through the thick, charged air. In this crucible of chaos, Kai's mind raced. Was the fragile synchronization he sought even possible? Or had he misread the alien architecture, stepping blindly into a trap that would consume them both? Come on, Kai muttered under his breath, sweat stinging his eyes as he rewired the complex circuitry with deft, steady motions. His heart thundered not just from exertion, but from the gnawing doubt clawing at his resolve. Can I truly bend this monster's fury to shield Earth instead of obliterating it? The question was a blade twisting in his gut, sharper than any plasma strike. The Leviathan's plasma wings flared again, sending lethal arcs of blue fire streaking through the arena. Kai barely dodged, the heat singeing his jacket, his breath catching as he rolled behind a fractured pillar. The beast's eyes, brilliant alien orbs, locked onto him, filled with a raw, primal intelligence. It wasn't just a mindless weapon, it was alive, terrifyingly alive. And it was fighting him every step of the way. Why hesitate, Earthling? The Overseer's voice crackled through the arena's comms, laced with cruel amusement. You were made to die here, to fail spectacularly. What hope do you have against a weapon you barely comprehend? Kai's jaw clenched, his fingers refusing to falter. Hope isn't in my hands, he snapped, voice strained but resolute. It's in what I do with them. A sudden surge of pain lanced through his arm as the Leviathan lashed out, shards of plasma slicing the air mere inches from his face. Instinctively, Kai ducked low, feeling the searing heat brush past his skin. The alien crowd's roar swelled, a tidal wave of anticipation and hunger for carnage. Yet Kai was neither prey nor puppet, his mind, sharpened by years of exile and obsession, saw a pattern beneath the fury, a rhythm in the Leviathan's attacks, a pulse beneath the chaos. The creature's plasma wings, though deadly, flickered erratically now, their energy conduits unstable under electromagnetic interference. This was his opening. Fingers trembling with exhaustion and adrenaline, Kai reached beneath his sleeve. Fingers closing around the wrist-mounted EMP generator he had secretly modified. It was a dangerous gamble, unproven, volatile, but it was his only chance. Sorry, old friend, he whispered, activating the device. A crackling surge of electric blue light erupted, arcing through the air like a miniature storm. The Leviathan shrieked, a chilling sound that blurred the line between beast and machine, as its plasma wings convulsed wildly. The creature staggered, disoriented, its deadly arcs faltering. Kai didn't hesitate. He lunged toward the exposed flank of the Leviathan, where a faint shimmer of damaged circuitry pulsed weakly beneath translucent armor. His fingers worked furiously, rewiring interface panels embedded inside the core, bypassing alien encryption with a mix of desperation and expertise. A sudden thought stabbed at him. What if the synchronization is only temporary? The leviathan's rage could surge back at any moment, overwhelming his fragile connection and turning the beast's fury against him. Doubt gnawed deep. Am I fooling myself, or can I truly rewrite its programming? Stay with me. Kai urged the creature silently, his breath ragged. We're in this together now, minutes stretched like hours. The arena trembled beneath the weight of explosions and the alien crowd's roars, every second a pulse of raw adrenaline. Kai's vision blurred at the edges, sweat and grime mixing on his brow, but his hands never wavered. He was no longer just fighting to survive. He was fighting to command asterisk. Suddenly, the leviathan's plasma wings flared brighter, arcs of energy snapping with renewed power. Kai's heart sank as the beast shook off the disruption, its movements growing wild, erratic, dangerous. The synchronization was breaking apart. No, Kai hissed, scrambling back as the leviathan lunged, jaws snapping inches from his face. The heat of the plasma blast seared the ground where he had stood moments before. His mind screamed for a solution. Then through the chaos, a voice cut sharply, Myra stepping into the fray. Eyes blazing with fierce determination. Kai, the core's destabilizing. You need to finish this before it's too late. She shouted, her voice slicing through the cacophony. Kai's breath hitched, a surge of renewed purpose flooding through him. I'm close, he called back, ignoring the burning pain in his ribs. Just a little longer. He dove toward the exposed core, fingers flying over alien interface panels, rerouting power. Rewriting control algorithms. The leviathan's agitated roars shifted in tone. A strange resonance, hinting at a growing connection between man and machine. But then the unexpected. The plasma wings, once wild and destructive, began to pulse rhythmically, almost in sync with Kai's commands. The deadly arc softened, folding inward like wings preparing to shield rather than strike. A fragile hope bloomed in Kai's chest. It's working. The alien crowd's gasps turned to stunned silence as the leviathan, once a weapon of annihilation, hovered protectively around Kai. The arena's tremor slowed, the explosions fading to distant echoes. Come on, Kai whispered, fingers moving faster, pushing deeper into the core systems. Trust me. The leviathan's luminous eyes met his, a spark of understanding flickering within. It was a connection born not of domination, but of fragile alliance. A sudden surge of plasma erupted from the wings, but instead of lashing out, it formed a protective shield around Kai. Shimmering with raw energy, the crowd erupted into a mixture of disbelief and awe. Had the earthling truly tamed the monster? Kai's breath came in ragged gasps, chest heaving as the overwhelming tension broke into a surge of triumph. We're not enemies, he murmured, voice trembling with emotion. We're defenders, together. The overseer's voice crackled angrily through the arena's comms. Impossible, the leviathan is a weapon of destruction. You have betrayed your species. Kai's eyes burned with defiance. No, I have given it a choice, to protect, to save. In a climactic surge, the leviathan's plasma wings blazed with newfound purpose, arcs of energy painting the arena in radiant hues. The beast unleashed a roar, not of rage, but of victory, as its deadly arcs transformed into a blazing shield. Cutting off the overseer's control, Kai stepped back, exhaustion threatening to claim him, but a fierce smile broke across his face. The synchronization held, delicate but real. The leviathan was no longer a weapon of destruction, it was Earth's guardian. Around them, the alien crowd's stunned silence deepened into whispers of disbelief. The impossible had happened. The beast was tamed, its fury redirected. Kai's mind raced with the possibilities. This was not just a victory, it was a revolution. A chance to rewrite the fate forced upon Earth. He glanced at Myra, who nodded, tears of relief glistening in her eyes. We did it, she breathed. Kai shook his head slowly, voice low but certain. No, we did it. This is just the beginning. As the arena gates groaned open, signaling the arrival of alien reinforcements, Kai stood tall, every fiber of his being burning with newfound purpose. The leviathan hovered beside him, wings glowing like twin suns. The war for Earth's future was far from over, but now humanity had a chance. Not as victims, but as champions. And Kai, the outcast engineer, had become the spark that ignited hope in the darkest of arenas. Kai's breath caught sharply as the Leviathan's plasma wings ceased their deadly arcs, the blue fire dimming to a soft glow that pulsed rhythmically like a heartbeat. For a moment, the arena fell into an eerie silence, broken only by the low hum of the alien machinery embedded within the beast's frame. Kai's eyes widened as the creature shifted, its massive form curling protectively around him. Plasma wings folding inward until they formed a shimmering, luminous shield. The crowd's roar dissolved into stunned gasps, then a ripple of confused murmurs. "Is this impossible?" one alien voice hissed, disbelief dripping from every syllable. Kai's chest heaved, sweat and grime streaking his face, but beneath the exhaustion a fierce, unyielding fire burned. He steadied his trembling hands on the Leviathan's glowing wingtip, feeling the steady pulse of energy beneath his fingertips. The beast's core, once a volatile heart of destruction, now resonated in harmony with the biosignatures of Earth itself, a symphony of life and technology intertwined. "Almost there," Kai whispered, voice rough but resolute. "Trust me, friend, we protect, not destroy." Myra, her face pale but eyes bright with hope, edged closer through the cautiously parting crowd. "Kai, are you sure? The overseers, they won't tolerate this. They'll come down harder than ever." Kai's gaze lifted, meeting hers with a steadiness born of conviction. "They think they own this fight, but I've turned their weapon into our shield. This is Earth's first line of defense against cosmic annihilation." His voice cracked slightly under the weight of the moment, but the words carried a promise that resonated far beyond the arena. The overseer's voice crackled through the arena's comlink, a venomous hiss laced with rage. "What treachery is this? Leviathan, obey, destroy the Earthling." The Leviathan's luminous eyes flickered. But instead of obedience, a low, resonant growl echoed, a sound not of submission but of alliance. The plasma wings flared, not in attack, but in a protective arc that shimmered with raw energy, forming a barrier that repelled the overseer's attempts at control. Kai's heart thundered as he realized the magnitude of what they had achieved. The Leviathan was no longer a puppet of alien warlords. It was a living bastion, a sentinel forged from the fusion of human will and alien might. "Look at them," Myra breathed, all coloring her tone. "They've formed a bond. It's like the Leviathan recognizes Earth as more than just a target." Kai exhaled slowly, the tension in his shoulders easing just a fraction. "It's more than recognition," he said. "It's symbiosis. Our survival intertwined." The arena, once a brutal battleground, transformed before their eyes. The ground beneath Kai's feet hummed with renewed energy, the walls glowing softly as the Leviathan's shield expanded, enveloping the space in a cocoon of protection. The alien spectators' faces twisted from fury to disbelief, their jeers silenced by the undeniable shift in power. Kai's thoughts raced back to the countless nights spent in exile, poring over alien schematics, dreaming of turning their weapons against them. The price of that dream had been isolation, scorn, and near death, but now it was manifest. He was no longer a pawn, he was the architect of Earth's defense. A sharp sting in his arm reminded him of the wounds he carried, both physical and emotional. Yet standing within the Leviathan's protective embrace, those wounds felt like badges of perseverance. "We're not done yet," Kai murmured, more to himself than anyone else. "They'll retaliate, they'll send everything they have." Myra nodded, gripping his arm with fierce determination. Then we'll be ready, together. Suddenly, the arena's gates thundered open, and a squadron of heavily armed alien reinforcements stormed in, their weapons crackling with energy. The overseer's voice rang out, a command and a threat intertwined. Crush the Earthling and his abomination. Show them the futility of resistance. Kai's eyes narrowed, muscles coiling like springs ready to release. The leviathan's wings pulsed brighter, the protective shield expanding to encompass both of them. "This is it," Kai said, voice steady, eyes blazing. "Our fight begins now." The reinforcements charged, plasma rifles blazing, but the shield held firm. Energy arcs deflected the blasts, the leviathan's wings slicing through the air in rhythmic pulses that disrupted the enemy's formations. Kai moved with purpose, issuing silent commands through the neural link he had forged with the beast. Each movement was a calculated dance of defense and counterattack, a symphony of survival orchestrated by man and machine. Myra fought at his side, her makeshift tools and quick reflexes disrupting enemy tech and providing critical support. Together, they were a force reborn from the ashes of despair. Amid the chaos, Kai's mind wandered briefly to the cost of survival, the friends lost, the scars borne, the price paid in blood and sacrifice. Yet, in that moment of fierce clarity, he understood that hope was forged in struggle. The alien reinforcements faltered, their assaults blunted by the unexpected unity between Earth and the Leviathan. Whispers spread among the alien crowd, uncertainty replacing their previous certainty of victory. Kai's voice rose above the din, a rallying cry not just for himself but for all humanity. "We are not victims, we are guardians, we endure, we fight. And we will prevail." The Leviathan's shield shimmered brighter, a radiant beacon against the encroaching darkness. The arena was no longer a pit of despair, but a fortress standing defiantly against cosmic annihilation. As the battle raged on, Kai felt a profound shift within himself, a transformation from outcast to leader, from hunted to protector. The weight of destiny settled heavily on his shoulders, but he bore it without falter. He glanced at Myra, who smiled through the grime and sweat, their bond unspoken but unbreakable. "We've changed everything," she said quietly. Kai nodded, determination steel hard. "And this is only the beginning." The alien overseers' fury simmered into disbelief as their ultimate weapon became a shield for the very world they sought to conquer. The arena echoed with the sounds of resistance, a testament to humanity's resilience and the profound cost of survival. Kai stood tall, the Leviathan's glowing wings casting a protective halo around him. Together they faced the uncertain horizon, ready for the battles yet to come. In the crucible of cosmic war, Earth's first true line of defense had been forged, not in submission but in defiance. And Kai, the outcast engineer, had become its guardian,